Hi, Tapan. Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Sorry, there's a call from the regulator, so got stuck with that.
Totally understand. No worries at all.
The problem is that because of all this work from home, no traveling, everybody is free, so they end up calling anytime.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Schedules are a little thrown up and you have to take the call. You can't avoid it.
Yeah, so and the regulator is calling, and obviously, pick up the call. Yes.
Excellent. So what we'll do is I'm going to, there are two parts, right? So just to speed this up, I'll open with an introduction. Typically, I take about 2 minutes. In that introduction, I try and tee up the brand first, and then the man behind the brand. And I will share the personal anecdote that inspired me in our conversation a little while earlier. So just to make it a little lighthearted, and then I'll open it up to you on a series of questions which your team has shared with you on the business, on the economy, and then move over to the personal side. And on the personal side, just feel free, as I said, to be formal and just share whatever you have in mind.
Two things, Suman. So you did not stick to the question you sent, ask anyone. First.
Okay.
Second, as a respect to you, I've changed to casual.
Okay, thank you. When my team asked me to do this, they said my first pressure was "पहनना क्या है?" They said, "बस हमारा audience भारत का है, आप simple कपड़े पहनो." तो ऐसे ठीक है, मैं t-shirt पहनूंगा.
So is the frame okay? Or do you want to change it?
Yeah, just one question. Karan, is the frame okay? The Pavli, if you can guide us, if any change is needed.
Okay. No response is a good response. So we'll go
No
ahead.
response is a good response. Just 1 second. Karan is messaging me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said there's one request. Can you unmute? Okay, they're requesting that you come at the center of the frame. Right now, you're on one edge of the frame.
So let me try to do this.
A little bit on it's थोड़ा इधर तपन एक तरफ पे ज़्यादा है. It's still. This is better. I think this is
Okay,
better.
good.
Yes, this is better. Yes, this is perfect. And what we'll do is I'll just wait for a cue for a minute. We'll just take a little building time so that you can settle in. And the moment my team gives me the cue in 1 minute to go live, we'll go live. Just give me 1 second. So Karan has just messaged me on my team, and then we'll good to go. So luckily the pressure here is a little less because it's not beaming live onto the app right now, so we can take a little bit of a breather. But it's 12:33. I'll just take a minute more and I'll get started.
Sure.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to the 4th episode of View from the Top, where I, your host, Umang Bedi, have the privilege and the pleasure of interacting with some of the finest minds in the industry who build some of the most iconic brands across India. At Daily Hunt, there was a little bit of a noise. Just 1 second. 1 second, Tapan. I think I'll just start again. There was something in the background. Just 1 second. I'll just ask Karan if the noise is anywhere at our end. Karan, there was a little bit of a noise, so I'm starting again. Otherwise, you'll have some editing issues.
No worries, sir. We are recording. We have the liberty. We can start.
Okay, perfect. So another minute and I'll start again. Okay, thank you.
Sure, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to the 4th episode of View from the Top, where I, your host, Umang Bedi, have the privilege to interact with and learn from some of the finest industry Sorry. There a noise in the background at your end?
Is it? Maybe the wind, no? Because I think I keep my windows open because Pune has advantage.
Yeah, because it will interfere in the sound of the playback.
It's actually difficult. My house is all glass, windows all across. Let me try and see if I can close some.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when the wind is blowing, really pretty tough, then that noise. Let me just try if it works.
Okay, thank you.
Is it better now, Umang?
Much better, much better.
So I think the advantage of Pune that you have this good ventilation and good weather. So we just keep everything open.
Everything open. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. It's like Bangalore. I grew up in Pune, so I studied in
Okay,
Pune.
so you understand, yeah.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just take 1 minute.
Yeah, sure.
Tapan, I'm so sorry. It's 12:40-ish, so we may go on till 1:10. It's a little
Fair.
ahead of the schedule. Chalega?
Yeah, it's fine.
ठीक है. Thank you.
Up to 1:30, I'm at your disposal.
ठीक है. 1:10 we'll be respectful of your time ताकि lunch भी आप खा पाए. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to the 4th episode of View from the Top, where I, your host, Umang Bedi, have the privilege and the pleasure of interacting with and learning from some of the finest leaders of industry across India who built the most iconic brands. At Daily Hunt, we stand for Bharat. We serve over 280 million users every month with news and entertainment, and are always in awe, inspiration, and admiration of brands that have truly served the warp and weft of India. Today, I'm here with one such iconic brand. This brand is iconic for several reasons. It's firstly a joint venture with India's most diversified non-banking financial institution and the world's leading insurer and largest asset manager. It's the second largest provider of general insurance in the country. It has started about 2 decades ago and has presence at over 1,100 towns and cities and is constantly expanding its operations to be close to customers. It's got a complete focus on customer centricity. In fact, is one of the brands that has achieved the highest net promoter score for health and motor insurance products. Through its advancements in digital and mobile, they're not only bringing insurance solutions to the customer's doorstep, but are really improving the penetration of the insurance segment in India. This brand is none other than Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. It is my privilege to actually welcome the managing director and CEO of this brand, Tapan Singhal, to the show. But before I say and hand it over to him, I just wanted to take a minute to tell you some fun things about Tapan. Tapan is an industry veteran who's been in the industry for over 2.5 decades, and for nearly a decade has been leading Bajaj Allianz General Insurance to its leadership position today. He has won numerous accolades to name a few. The Personality of the Year at the Indian Insurance Summit and Awards. He was conferred with the Most Trusted CEO Award. He's been featured as a LinkedIn top voice in India. He's also been recognized by the Economic Times and the Global Business Summit as the most promising business leader. And I can tell you one thing about Tapan. In my short interaction with him just before the show, he said such nice things around just humility and simplicity that just made my day. He has an ability to inspire, and I was left inspired after that call. And no wonder he has the following that he has on social media. So Tapan, sorry for that long introduction, but welcome to the show. Really thrilled to have you. Over to you, Tapan.
Thank you, Umang. It's my pleasure. Heard so much about you, all the good work that you've done, and all my best wishes to Daily Hunt, the way it's moving up. And it's a pleasure interacting with you.
Thank you so much, Tapan. Really appreciate your time as well and all the good wishes. So Tapan, let me start with, you built such an iconic brand, and COVID has been a dampener to most industries. We're feeling the heat, the lives versus livelihood debate. What has been the impact on the insurance sector and specifically on your company?
So there are 2 things to it. Let's talk about the positive first, and then what can be better. If you look at it, and you have heard it before, a lot of people said insurance industry is lagging behind in terms of digitalization, and it can do better. And we have been working on it. We have been digitalizing our claims, our policies, and it was all ready. But the uptake was not happening. I think it's still paper and things were going on. In fact, I was so disappointed that once I'm in Singapore, I was trying to figure out how they are doing, because Singapore is very digitally advanced. Even there, the insurance industry was like 95% on paper. So I was like, this is not working. When COVID happened, overnight, it was amazing to see the transformation, the customer behavior shift, the intermediary shift. I think everything moved to the digital space at such a hyper speed. I was surprised. In fact, we issued about 30 lakh policies and over 15 lakh claims, all digitally, contactless, completely. It was a phenomenal surprise that how could one incidence overnight change things. And this WhatsApp joke is very popular. Like, who did the digital transformation for the company? It was the CEO, CTO, or COVID. So that is a positive for the industry. I think the digital transformation has been a huge positive. Now, the negative part is, if you look at it in terms of sales, which was happening, the vehicle sales dropped considerably. So that went to negative. I think the vehicle sales is minus 40 to minus 35%, which happened. But on the other side, the fire portfolio, the health portfolio, that kept on moving up. So overall, it may be a bit negative, let's say in about 10% or so. But by the time the year ends, I would expect the industry to be either minus 5 or plus 5, in that range. So not a major impact as such, but the industry was used to double-digit growth. So from that perspective, yes, a bit of a kind of a step down. But having said that, I think it will emerge better and stronger. People understand the risk, which again is pushing up the sale for health, or let's say, as I said, fire portfolio that is going up. Cyber risk is moving up. So it's a combination of something really very good which can happen and something which can be better. But I think it's good. I'm excited about it.
It's nice to see you maintaining your composure, calm, and looking at the positive side of it. Really, really admirable there, Tapan. Tapan, if I could just ask you, when it really first hit home that this is a pandemic, we're here to stay at home for a while, we get into a lockdown, it takes the morale of a very large organization here like yours, with a field force distributed across 1,200 cities. How do you motivate your troops? Like, what do you personally do that you thought was different and you're proud of in the way you rallied these troops towards this movement of invoking digital channels or driving up customer centricity? Would love to hear some learnings there.
Okay, there are two things to it, Umang. Let's say if you lead any kind of army, if for them the purpose of what and why they're working is clear and why they serve, then they're automatically motivated. I think always when you run a large company, always remember this. So if you look at the insurance industry, the purpose was very clear. People are suffering when a loss happens, a claim is happening. Now, do we at this time be in a position not to serve them? Then are we doing a duty? I always say that as insurers, we get paid to do good. So from my company's perspective, I think most of people understand this, that we have to stand by our customers when things go wrong. And that is our duty, for which we serve the country, the nation, and that is what we should not miss out. So I think my team is self-motivated to that large extent. But when COVID happened, the biggest worry that I had was on mental health. See, if you again understand, it's high crisis. People are confused. People are scared. Sometimes they don't know what to do. Now, in such circumstances, and you're alone now, you're used to meeting friends, talking to people. My expectation was that mental health issues will start rising. Mental health does not mean extremes. Even small stress levels moving up is also. So I spoke to my HR team, and we set up a helpline for our partners and our people, that anybody could talk to psychiatrists and consultants free of charge. And we said no data required from them. So in a way, clearly mentioning that come what may, I don't want any information other than how many people are approached as a percentage wise. You'll be surprised to know 33% people approached the helpline. So the stress levels really moved up, and getting that was very, very essential in the beginning. The second thing which I thought was, let me go back to basics. When we were younger, what really excited us when we went on a field trip or anything, there's one common, I think if you remember, Antakshari, be it in bus or be it in train, where we're traveling, Antakshari was something which was spontaneous and would lift up the mood very, very fast. So I said, okay, let's do something like an Antakshari, with our team, with our partners to begin with. And initially my senior leader said, boss, this will not work. This is too stupid. I said, okay, let's do some stupid stuff. Let's see how it works out. So putting all this together, getting back to basics, every day in the evening we have celebrations, any birthday, anniversary we celebrate. So keeping the touch with people, allowing them access for consulting for their mental health issues, and the purpose of serving the customers, put it all together. Then you don't do anything else. They're self-motivated. They on their own are able to take it to the next level. So at times, you don't think very big. Just think very simple stuff. How can you manage or do something as simple as this?
Tapan, that short answer had gems of gold. I was trying to think of all the things I took away, but the first one was being mission-driven, having a sense of purpose, because life is too short to really deviate from that sense of purpose. And if businesses have a mission or a sense of purpose is actually more important than a business model. And I think that came out very nicely in what you said as a key learning. The second part was just the humane side of what you brought out with mental health issues. Completely understand that 1 in 4 to 5 individuals in India do suffer from that. And there is a stigma around, sharing that openly. And the fact that you did that not only for your employees, but your partners is really creditable. And I think the third thing for me that you said was self-motivation, keeping that human touch, and always having a fun connection the way you would, because at the end of the day, your employees are people that are part of your family. And really, really humbled by what you just shared with me. Thank you so much for that. Let me shift to another question. So in terms of the industry shifting, how important do you now see the role that Bajaj will play in the shift to digital in the COVID world? There could be so many more innovations that you're thinking about. Just tell me a little bit more about those innovations or just digital adoption. Is the whole insurance sector going to be transformed in a paperless fashion?
Okay, two things, Umang, and I think you are very young. So I think if I look at youngsters, patience level is low. You guys want things very, very fast. In my time, if I was in a hostel, if I wrote a letter once a month to my parents, they're very happy. Yeah, I think they're very in good touch. Or if I was traveling and we didn't have mobile phone those days, if I called up my wife once in a day, then she was super excited. Like, my husband is really madly in love with me. In today's time, in 30 seconds, you're not responding to people, pinging people, I think you're in serious trouble. So in a generation where you have to ensure that you deliver very fast, your traditional methods really lack. I think, like you said, if I tell you I'll send you a policy like by tomorrow, you say, but tomorrow, why not right now? I paid the money, so where is my policy? The second issue is in terms of the way the claims get paid. And it's actually a very funny situation, and I talked about it in the past also. If you look at the industry, it collects money from many to pay to a few. So which means that the few they pay to, they have to check that there's no fraud happening. So entire process of claim payment is to eliminate fraud before they pay. Otherwise, the money of many which they have is being misused. So they have to be careful there. But that for the customer is a very sad experience. Now you as a customer lodge a genuine claim and the industry sees you like a thug and starts eliminating before they pay. It's a terrible experience. How can you pay within, let's say, 10 minutes of the incident happening? Now you have digital tools. You don't have to go send people. You have mobile camera. You have social media. Why can't you put it all together and pay very fast? So basically, two things: issue policies, pay claims. So if I look at it, one of our mission was within 10 minutes, can we pay all retail claims? And we actually did that. We were one of the first in the world to do so. If you have a motor accident, step down, click pictures, upload, within 10 minutes, transfer money to account within the ideal limits. Policy issuance, even on WhatsApp, you click, done. Renewals, you just click on SMS, it gets done. Your policy is issued immediately, it goes to your inbox or on your WhatsApp the way you want it. So from an insurance company perspective, I think this is going to be a huge shift because the industry as a whole has a very negative image. And it's sad because these guys really pay claims very well. If you look at their balance sheets, most of them bleeding to death because of the amount of claims they're paying. But you ask the person street, well, these jokers never pay claims. So it's a funny situation. But I believe that if the industry does these 2-3 things, of cutting down the cumbersome process of claim payment, of instant issuance of policies, I think they will really build a good name for themselves. And as a company, we're leading that. And I'm sure by the time we have the next interview, maybe in a couple of years' time, we'll talk about it.
Tapan, firstly, you made my day twice now. You called me young. I've now touched 42, so I don't feel that young. In an office full of millennials and Gen Z, I'm probably the dinosaur along with my brother Viru there. But thank you so much for that. And again, I think what you shared on, in a very simple manner, how literally you're doing a click of a photograph at an accident site to a claim in 10 minutes being paid is unheard of. I think a lot of startups should be inspired at the speed at which you're innovating, and you're a company that's been around for 2 decades. The second largest in your space. Huge credit and kudos in terms of the tech innovation and digital innovation that you're driving, right? Wanted to ask you one more question. So, in relation to the pandemic situation, do you see an increased traction in the health insurance sector, specifically across tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 Bharat, the real underbelly of India, right? Are you seeing any traction in that business?
Okay, I'll answer this question, but let me give a small background to it. No, first and foremost, if I look at the health insurance space, my personal belief is the country which has got good health insurance penetration, the life expectancy of the country is at least 5 to 10 years more.
Yes.
Now, let me explain how. Because if you have a good health cover, you'll go to very good doctor, very good hospital. So that can actually be a difference between life and death. No. So I've been obsessed about health insurance penetration. In fact, when the national health scheme got launched by the Prime Minister, I was super excited because I've been pushing that for quite some time. And we covered 40 crore people in the country, below poverty line. Now that is covered. People working in large organizations are covered by GMCs. But then the next rung, people who afford insurance, if you look at their penetration level, that is this one. No? So I'm not talking of people who can't afford insurance, that's covered by the government scheme, or people working in big corporate, they'll be covered by the company. But that is where the penetration has to really move up. So when COVID happened, I thought it will, like my servers will crash, because people, it's high risk and insurance policies in India cover COVID for health. But it didn't happen. In the month of April, the retail health policies was negative, -3% of the industry as a whole. We were plus, that's a different issue. But yes, in June and all, it started picking up. Now I think people are seeing the risk much more. But has it gone to the level which I feel it should? No, not yet. So one of my earnest requests to your channel medium, to anybody listening is, if you don't have a health cover, please take it. It is very essential for you and it's good for you and your family. It makes a difference of life and death. Believe me, I've seen this happen at many places. It doesn't cost much. It doesn't cost more than a dinner out with your family for the whole year. That is the cost. So have that. It's a good question that you asked me.
Very, very clear. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And on the other side, you have a business which people are not using automobiles that much anymore, right? And of course, we are in an unlock phase, so that is coming back together. How do you tackle a downturn in one business, which is not led by anything that you've done, but is such an externality? With people driving cars less, it's a gut feel that I think the motor insurance sector as a whole is down. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you see that coming back?
Yeah. See, if you look at the Wuhan experience in China, when the lockdown opened, people purchased two-wheelers and small cars. Nobody wants to use the public transport in these times. So the sales have started moving up. If you start looking at data now, automobile, two-wheelers and small cars, the booking has really started moving up in India also. So my belief is this will move up. In fact, there's one more interesting thing I want to talk about is when people had lockdown happening and they had policy renewal coming up, they were thinking, why should I pay for the whole year? And I'm using my car for certain limited time. So we actually, because of regulators' permission, we in the sandbox filed a product which is pay as much as you consume for motor. And when we put it on a website, it got sold out so fast. I think so. Now we again request the regulator to allow, because they gave limited amount for sale. We asked for the next lot, and then we're looking at regularizing it. So in today's time, I think such products will really be good for the consumer. When you buy a number of kilometers, like say you buy 100 kilometers for the year, instead of paying for the full year with unlimited kilometers and getting a better price, and then using your car on that basis and topping it up whenever you require more. So that is something which we bought again. It was a super success when we launched it. It just got sold out. Let's see when we get the next slot permission and put it up again.
It reminded me of the innovation that Unilever did with sachet pricing and sachet modeling. You've really done that with auto insurance. That is phenomenally insightful, because I can take an insurance for a limited number of kilometers, keep topping it up. That is really innovative, because your back end, your systems, your processes now have to align to more quicker, more higher velocity of transactions, but maybe lower transaction price, right? And so the whole business model kind of is turned on its head. That's an amazing example. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tapan. Really appreciate that. Tapan, just switching and zooming out a little, right? Like we're going through this period of time. How do you broadly think the world is going to change post-COVID and its impact on our economy?
Okay, let me take in two parts. How the world will change. The world will go back to where India was, let's say 30, 40 years back. Now, or maybe 100 years back, let's say, or 200 years back. See, you will not be doing handshakes and hugs anymore. You'll be doing namaste. Yeah. Now, if you look at it, you'll be leaving your footwear outside when you visit any place, because that is where you'll be worried about the infections coming. You'll be washing your hands and face before having any food. which is what you'll be doing yoga, you'll be doing meditation. So it's actually very funny, Umang. Nobody thinks it like that. The whole world will move to what India was 100 years back.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is one way, the way I look at it, how the world will move. It will be interesting to see whatever India had been doing very strong from the very beginning as clear basics, is what the world will be adopting. So that is super exciting from my perspective. From the economic perspective, every crisis, if you look at it, at any era, after the crisis, it always booms up. I think the resilience of the human race is something which we underestimate. We have survived eras in which dinosaurs did not survive. We have survived in eras, where we had meteoroid, we had world wars, we had whatever. The resilience of human beings as a race is unbelievable. We have not been the fittest, we have not been the strongest, but we adopt to very, very strong. So my personal belief is even when this crisis goes down, the economy will zoom up. But you be in the right place to really make use of that roller coaster ride. You don't be standing below and watching everybody else taking the roller coaster. Just jump on it. So I think that is how I would look at it.
I love the way, Tapan, you have this real knack of telling a personal story on a hard question on impact on COVID and economy. And I think I've never met someone who has an anecdote on every question, and you've done that consistently over the last 7 questions. So I can tell why, and I said this at the beginning of my show, but I was amazed to see your LinkedIn followership. Like, you're nearing at 1 million people on LinkedIn, which is a professional network. I now know the reason. I think I have to learn how to tell a story a lot better, but thank you so much for that. So, Tapan, what kind of companies do you think, let's talk about the positives. What kind of companies do you think will thrive during this environment?
Okay. Now, let's say if I have to do a startup, or let's say if I have to join a company, the way I should look at it. Let's say pre-COVID, that time everything on sharing economy was like a super success, and if you have to put your money, you're looking at sharing rooms, sharing hotels, sharing cars. It was like booming, and then one day later, nobody wants to put money there.
Yes.
So we should understand that the world changes very fast. There's no use hanging on to a scenarios environment which is changing. So as business leaders, as individuals, we should recognize it's very, very clear. What is a new thing which is going to start picking up? And how do we build on that? What is the new expectation of customers? What is the customer need which is coming up now? How do we solve it? What is the problem that we solve next? And how do we get excited about solving it? And how do we get excited about changing the society or let's say, the current situation? Let me give you a small example again. See, unemployment is going to move up, is what people said. So I told my team, if I look at the agency force that we have, which is on virtual payroll, if you may say so, and they earn a lot of good money. In insurance, most of my agents really do very, very good. And in fact, I have stories of agents who started with a bicycle with me, and today they're gifting the son Mercedes. So that is the kind of revenue they're able to make over time. So I said, can we provide employment to 1 million people as a purpose? Let's serve the nation. Let's see, can we, in a time when people are looking for not hiring and going down, can we get aggressive and show people and make difference to their lives? So the issue is, if there's a problem in the society, can you solve it? If the answer is yes, you'll always have a roller coaster zooming up. I think let's look at Daily Hand. Today, when the print media is going down, nobody wants to touch a newspaper. You guys are zooming up. So I think this is how it goes. You be in the right place, identify it, and jump on it. At times you may fail. It's okay. Then again, you get up, look at the next wagon coming in, and jump on that. Life is fun. It's always up and down to be happening. So from an industry perspective, right now, if you ask me, the pharma will be doing good. I think a lot of people are looking at pharma. And if the solution comes into vaccine or medicine, most of the generic drugs or the biosimilars will start moving up. And India has quite a few of that. So that will actually move up very well. And now if you look at where people are very cautious of China, so a lot of people are looking at manufacturing in-house, which is happening. That is going to move up. If some manufacturer can provide at the cost which China was providing, their manufacturing unit will definitely start moving up. And you have success in India also, where you have a lot of people doing better than Chinese counterparts. So those kind of stuff, that how can you get that kind of product and stuff here, which is critical. Service industry will move up. Solution orientation move up. I think doctors' clinic, the psychiatrist, their business start moving up. In a pure startup basis, how do you look at, let's say, if I have to, right now, food is an issue, nobody's going to a restaurant. Can I get a restaurant experience in your house, and with the guarantee of, like it's COVID free, then would you not book me, for getting over to you? So I think if you ask me, I can talk about 100 stuff which I'd like to do, but I love my job so much, I'm not leaving it. Otherwise, I'd be doing such kind of stuff. I'm really loving it. So the opportunities are like immense, Umang. I think we just have to be super excited, keep on trying stuff, failing, winning. I think that is all we keep on doing.
I know this is getting into a personal side, but the genuineness and the excitement that you had on your face when you talked about the art of the possible, of what all can be done in this adversity, was very inspiring and very thought-provoking. Because if you think about it, I had not thought about a restaurant being created in your house, or I had not thought about a couple of the opportunities that you shared. So I think for viewers, that was a really uplifting message. I think that's the way I would frame it. Thank you so much, Tapan, for inspiring us with that answer. One more question there, Tapan, just before I shift gears. But our Bharat runs on small businesses. SMEs and MSMEs are a part of our economy. They've really been hit hard, right? What's your guidance for them as a sector? Because I think they would love to hear your insights as well.
Yeah, I think the hit has been because of the cash crunch. The cash flow stops, and you have all these fixed expenses coming up, and then the crisis starts building on you, and the order starts moving separately. Now, two things we have to do. First and foremost, look at the scenario that in a post-COVID era, is our business relevant or not? Yes. If the answer is yes, then at times you have to dig your heels and stay, and see that you stay for the time when it changes. There are times in life also. We all go through personal setbacks and real tough setbacks. Quite a few of us are starting giving up now. When I read of suicides and all, I feel very sad. All they have to do is dig their heels and stay. Stay. Nothing lasts forever. Neither good times nor bad times. You just have to survive the storm. And then you come out stronger, and then you beat the shit out of the market. I think that is as simple as that. But when you have tough times and you're getting hit from all sides, I'll tell you one small story, and that will not at this scale. But I was in school, and I was very into sports and very passionate about my house points. So our boxer not turned up. So my the house teacher told me that when you enter the ring and you your athletic build, and though you don't know boxing, and you stay, you get 2 points even if you lose, and that will ensure the house wins. And I was in class 6 or 7. Yeah. I entered the ring, and unfortunately, because of my tall frame, the body weight was pitched against the school champion, boxing champion. Now he was bashing me up left, right, center. I had no clue. All my strategy went for a toss. I didn't know boxing, and he was the champion. Yeah, so he really beat me up left, center. My mind, the only thing was stay. Just hang on. Even get beaten up, hang on. And we won the championship. Later on. I lost the bout, but I stayed on. I took it head on. So in my life, many times I've had this situation where I get hit very bad, very, very bad. And I remember that boxing time, and my mind, it just says, stay, hang on, don't let go. And then when you emerge again, and give a fight back again. That is what has to be done. And small businesses is very, very tough. Just analyze that in post-COVID era, is your business relevant? Then just stay. Because a lot of businesses will die. And then if you are still hanging around, you make it big. If it's not relevant, then obviously start doing course correction very fast. Don't waste too much time. So 2 things. If it's relevant, stay. If it's not relevant, don't waste time. There's no love. There's no crying over what has happened. It's life. Move on. Just close. Look for the next opportunity. Whatever best you can recover, and create new businesses. You have been an entrepreneur. That's how you set up SME, MSME. So that spirit is in you. Don't let it go. Let that get spirit out. So I would handle it in these 2 circumstances.
Firstly, what an inspiring story. I mean, that was just unbelievably inspiring, where you stand for the larger good, right? Or you stand for helping your team win. So you take the punches, just stay there. What a beautiful anecdote to switch segments on that note, Tapan. Right? This next section is called Up Close and Personal, and we really want to. You've given us so many amazing anecdotes about how you think. I think there's a real brilliant, vibrant mind in there. But I'd love to know a little bit more about Tapan, the non-managing director and CEO of a large insurance company. So let's talk about a little bit about your leadership style. You've won so many CEO awards, it puts most people to shame. What are your qualities that you believe make you a good leader?
Okay, I think it's very simple, Umang. Just be a good human being. And the managing director and all these positions are irrelevant. They are there for a purpose, a role to be played. It has nothing to do with what kind of leader or what kind of person you are. You just play that role. So one, and second, be obsessed about people. Just be obsessed about them. And I there times when I stood by them when the company rules also didn't allow that. And I remember some of my shareholders telling me that this is not done. I said, yeah, I know I've done it, so I'm ready to be sacked. But I can't let my people go, unsupported. So people see the genuineness in you. If they see the genuineness in you, Umang, at any point of time, they'll stand by you. So if you're a genuine human being, you're obsessed about your people, it's there. And then have a childlike curiosity for everything. Like the points I told you, it's just because why should it be like this? Why not like this? And then be super excited. Then what will happen is some of your people also get excited. Ye to achhi baat hai, boss. Aisa karte hain kya? Then you say, aisa karte hain to karo. And then you completely empower them on the spot. In fact, someone new leader who joined get very surprised. They said, boss, we just spoke, and now you made me the head for that the particular experiment. Like I never realized it. I said, yeah, don't speak if you're not excited about it. No. And if you're excited about it, do it. Why waste time thinking so much? So it is the small things, Umang. It's nothing very big. You are a human being, and if you look at you're born, you'll die one day. All these positions, all this wealth that you create has no relevance. In the end, and I've seen as you grow older, in the end you eat such basic food and look for such basic necessities that your wealth by the time you create has no relevance. So it's actually a very funny thing. So if you are able to be with people, stand by them, be excited about life, keep on creating something new every day, and keep on having an exciting journey where people are happy being around you, I think that is all. You will be doing good in life. I think that is my belief. So there's no rocket science behind it, Umang. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it is as simple as this.
No, it's such a beautiful answer. And I think you're one leader that I've met, and this is a rare one, I'll say this genuinely, who's not defined by his title. You may not be the managing director, but that is not going to make you less, gregarious about your business, less passionate about people, and that obsession around everything that you do around problem solving just comes out. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tapan. One interesting thing that I've noticed is brands around the world are intimidated by social media, right? They spend millions of dollars to communicate with them. Leaders who are so experienced like you are probably not even on social media. And I was looking at your profile, and the amount of communication you do with customers, stakeholders, partners through social is unbelievable. I actually felt intimidated looking at your profile. I was like, wow, how do you build that follower base? Tell me a little bit more. How did you adopt it? This probably wasn't, when you were 20 years old, this was not around. So this was much later in life. So how did that happen?
Okay, it's an interesting story, Umang, again. So I was trying to reach out to a telecom CEO, I had some issue there, and now I'm much more calmer. In younger days, I was more enthusiastic about any stuff, and I'd get very, like I would do it right now stuff. And I could not make it beyond his secretary. With all my influence and my connection, I just could not get through. And next day, I pick up the newspaper, and the statement is, he's a very customer-friendly person. I said, bullshit. If I can't reach you, how can you be customer-friendly? Then I thought it's so easy for me to criticize somebody. That is the easiest thing to do. I said, if somebody will reach me, can they reach me? Then I thought, okay, what should I do? And that time, LinkedIn was there. So I said, okay, let me open a profile LinkedIn. And if you see me on LinkedIn, you'll find my mobile number also, and you'll find my email address also. It's publicly available. So I said, let me put that. So if somebody wants to reach to me, they need not waste time. If they look for it, they can reach me, and I'll be able to address the issues. Be it my partners, be it my customers, whoever it is, and I'll answer that. So with that intent, I created the social media account. That was intent. Now when I created it, I said, okay, let me write something. If I've created something, then what do? You start writing stuff, and I always like to write and interact with people. And that's how it started getting, it started building up. So with that small, simple intent, but two good things happened. One, the profile built up well, like you said. And second good thing is, if you look at Vivian's Insurance Company, Vivian's ratio is the least. Our response time is the fastest. Because people know if they don't respond, The next thing the person does is look for CEO Battalions. And the CEO is going to call you in 5 minutes' time. No? So you better respond when the CEO starts calling you 5 times and say, Acha, what happened to this? So we have the least grievance ratio, and that's why you see our NPS is the highest and our response time is the best. So both worked out very well, no? So it's good for the company and good for me also. And I could meet so many friends and people all across the world. No? In fact, sometimes I travel, I meet a lot of people who say, no, I'm with you on LinkedIn and I'm happy to talk about this. I get so excited. No? You're going to touch so many different lives at some point of time. So that's how it goes, Umang.
Very nice. So, we're getting to the end of time, but I have my favorite section called rapid fire. So I'm going to fire as many questions as I can in the next couple of minutes to you, and would love to get your witty, rapid answers to it. And you've been such a sport. So how do you unwind and relax?
Listen to stories of people. Do that. Forget about television. Forget about Netflix. Try it sometimes. Just sit with anybody, even a stranger. Offer a cup of tea, coffee. Sit down and listen to that person. You will be amazed the amount of learning that you have. Right? Like right now, when I'm talking to you, I think I'm unwinding. Like this is like it's such a beautiful moment talking to somebody, listening to their story, their conversation, their feelings. To me, that is super exciting. So I don't watch television. I don't remember when I watched TV last. I don't even watch Netflix. I don't even remember when I saw maybe 1 or 2 movies in a year I see, which my wife really recommends very strong. Then I go with her to see it. That's it. But sitting down and having conversations to me, Umang, is the best thing that can ever happen. So I always do that. I make it a point when I get some time, even with people who are co-traveling or if I'm in a restaurant, just talk to people. It works. I don't know why we hesitate to talk to people. I think to me that is the best.
Such a lovely answer. I'm going to take that as a learning. Thank you so much for sharing. Favorite book?
Okay, I think it changed over time. Right now, I'm more reading about spiritualism. So Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, is something which I'm really getting into depths of it, and I'll tell you why. There are 2 parts to a human mind. One is what you see external. So I believe that in my life, that I have really enjoyed and done very, very, like up to my satisfaction and happiness. But what I see internal, I've not spent enough time on it. So there are 2 people who actually scientifically try to put it across, in terms of how do you see internal. One was Buddha, who gave a scientific process. Other is Patanjali, in his Yoga Sutra. He gives very scientific process of how do you move internal and try to look yourself inwardly, like the management term you use. How do you do that? So right now I'm trying to understand that and get into depths of it. Still learning, but enjoying it a lot. So I think that is what I'm doing currently.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I think the inner self and discovery of that inner self is such a beautiful theme that you're following. Who are your mentors, people who have been the biggest influence in your life?
Everybody. Right now, you. So everybody. I don't know why do you restrict to one and learn less? When every human being is such an amazing story and there's so much to speak. You get me one person, Umang, who doesn't and can't inspire you, I change my name. I promise. Get me anybody, and let us spend 10 minutes and you will be so inspired. Everybody's life is so beautiful. For me, it's so amazing to meet so many people and get inspired by them. But early on, it was my parents who had huge influence. My father, when I got married, my wife, now my kids. So they, at a personal level, yes, they have huge influences. But at the learning level, at the level of getting super excited, I think that is what it is. So I would say I have like billions of mentors.
Okay, last question, but you strike me as someone who's achieved so much and has such a brilliant mind and with such simplicity of thought and such humbleness in that process. What are you proudest of personally for yourself?
Okay. Again is the story. I wanted to be a scientist. I want to get the Nobel Prize for my country. That is why I started to be a scientist. Now, by fate and by friends' influence, I entered and became an insurer. So my parents are very unhappy that if you have to do this, why not become a bureaucrat or something? Why did you have to insurance industry? But then I remember a time when I'd gone to give a claim check to the widow of a truck driver because I felt that if somebody has died, we should give money very, very fast. And that was very, very early, and I still early on in my career. And there was a person who was supposed to deliver the check was not there that day, and I saw that it was on the way. home. I said, no, why should we delay? If something has to be given, we should give very, very fast. So I picked up the check and I said, I'll deliver it on the way. And one of my colleagues was there. I said, okay, boss, I'll come on. I said, just sit in the car. So we went to her house and we gave a check and said, we're so sorry your husband made an accident, but this is the least that we could do. He was covered. And the tears in her eyes and the gratitude which I saw, I realized that this is a different profession to be in. I get paid to do good. And to me, that was my proudest moment. I felt my life is made. People look for purpose later in life. For me, the purpose is to serve people who have a misfortune and I get paid for it. What better profession could I have chosen? So from being a scientist to reaching that space, and that particular moment was a very transforming moment for me. And that's why I say that I'm a proud insurer and I continue to remain so.
Thank you so much for sharing. Tapan, this has probably been one of the most enjoyable conversations that I've had. I've smiled through, I've tried to learn and imbibe, but I can tell you that the 280 million people who come to Daily Hunt every month are going to absolutely relish this. There has been so much learning, so much simplicity, so much humility that you've demonstrated. But above all, it's been so much fun. And I think probably the best way to start a weekend and look forward to what the world has to offer and what our lives have to offer. So, on behalf of everyone in the Daily Hunt family, a huge thank you for being such a sport, for being so open and transparent, and just showing us the multifaceted side to Tapan Singhal and your wonderful personality. Thank you very much for being with us.
No, thank you, Umang. My pleasure. Really enjoyed meeting you and talking to you. And someday we'll get together over a cup of tea and we'll listen to more stories. Thank you.
I look forward to that, Tapan. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it brings us end to another really, really exciting, but I would say amongst the most inspiring episodes in this series, where we had the ability to talk to a fascinating leader, Tapan Singhal. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and God bless. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Tapan, that was amazing. You were brilliant, yeah. I mean,